Hello, and welcome to the third and final part of the mini-series Rags to Riches on the Barbarian. On day one, we went from normal to hell difficulty. We tried our hand at Ubers, but we failed. Oops, wrong character. And on day two, we did a little bit of mapping. We went to Declone with 2 builds. We went to kill Ubers, get our revenge on the Berserk build. And on day 3, I promised to upgrade our gear and test all sorts of builds. And the builds we went through were Leap, we went through Whirlwind and Throw, and we did both with physical aspects and with bleed aspects, kind of like testing how both kind of fare. So I'll kind of like go over all those things that we did. We also tried our hand at bossing with wolfbarb with relatively budgety gear. So all of this will be in this video. And at the end of the video, if you don't want to watch all the demonstration, just for people who really just want the recommendation, at the end of the video, I'll just kind of do a roundup of the recommendations of what you should be using on your season reset. This is something I figured I should be doing for people just to make it a bit easier for them to find what build they should farm with early on. So this will come at the end of the video after like I do the demonstrations. And yeah, if you just want to skip to that, feel free to do that. But with that said, let me pull the video and show what we did on day number 3 on the Barbarian. So they started with a throw bleed. We started with just throw and bleed, and you can kind of see that we're testing tier 2 map already. I did test in tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 with all the builds. And we used the same maps, so we're not necessarily running the best maps for the builds. I just want to run the same maps just so I can get somewhat of a close approximation of like how long it takes to clear. And you can see that like this build feels very good to run for people who like more active type of builds. I really enjoyed this personally. I think this is a really fun build to play, and you can see that it is very effective. In terms of how budgety it was, is we used a lacerator that we found ourselves. You can use 2 lacerators if you want. They don't have to be ethereal. They can be cheap lacerators. It's a pretty common weapon. So you can do that, or you can use a crafted second hand. That's also okay. The rest of the gear fairly budgety, using a demon horn helm. That's pretty cheap helm. Most people don't use it. A 2 throw. You can get like a cheap 2 throw pretty easily. So generally the gear was very budgety, which is really nice, and it is very self-sustaining. As you can see, we're leeching, we're getting like everything that we need from just attacking. The main thing you want to make sure you're doing is keep up your frenzy. I decided to kind of put levels into frenzy as well, so it lasts a little bit longer. I didn't like having just like 14 seconds or something like that for frenzy to keep it up, so I put more levels into it. You can otherwise put more levels into your bleed synergies. This is an example of a tier 3 map. This is not sped up, so you can just kind of see us running there. And again, even here, like the self-sustain of this build works really well. There's no like tankiness on the items, but it still feels like you're very safe. So I personally really enjoyed this build. If I was really fun. In terms of clear speed to budget kind of ratio, it wasn't as fast as what we did on the day 2 spinning build and leaping builds. It does require a little bit more to get going, but overall, like once you get the weapons, you can already start farming LOD areas pretty easily, and then like farming maps once you get like a little bit more damage for the most part from things like 2 throw or from things like Gore Riders. Any of these like key kind of pieces, Drax, can send you into maps. So that's kind of like what we discovered while testing this build. The second build we tested was a spin bleed build. You can see us back here in the Lost Temple. This is the map I almost never run, but I just ended up running it all day on day number 3. And you can kind of see that this build technically does one-shot stuff. I think part of the reason where this build seemed slower than what it actually is because I'm not used to just trusting the bleed damage on this build. The bleed damage on this build is really high. We're using a messer to run it, like pretty cheap messer, and this is without any like big bleed jewels or anything like that. So again, the potential damage for this build is much higher. We're using the same gear set for the weapon as we did on the throw bleed. So a demon horn, a 2 throw, Drax, cheap Gore Riders. So everything is like fairly cheap, like options that you can definitely get by day 2 or day 3. if you get good drops. So, and you can see this clears really, really fast. Let me pause this real quick. The bleed spinner had like one thing that, again, it might be because I'm not used to letting the bleed do the kill, but it does require kind of getting used to doing enough damage so the monster will die from the bleed damage that you're dealing. And I think I wasn't doing that well enough, so the speed on it seemed a bit slower than the other builds we were playing. Throw bleed, I'm already used to playing. I've played it in season 9, so I was more used to it. But on the spin, I feel like it could definitely be a lot faster, but on average it came out as slower than all the other builds. So I'm kind of like saying it with a caveat here that it might just be, you know, my skill issue, playing bleed barb a little bit too slowly, not trusting the damage. Over here you can see us playing physical spin, which, I mean, most people who played barb ever play the physical spin. I played physical spins, was like the first build that I've ever truly made in Diablo 2 back in vanilla. And I mean, it's good to be back. Physical spin, it's been a while since I played it. You can see this build just completely destroys everything. You can see me spinning. I'm only going back to pick up stuff. For the most part, we one-shot enemies, and we're using a weapon that is a steel pillar with pretty average rolls. The slime is really good. I got 6 sockets on it, but I put like just dull runes inside, so obviously it's like having 3 sockets and average jewels inside it. So technically this is not an insane weapon, but once I actually do put ohm runes in it, it would be, if I end up doing that. And you can really see how much damage this does. It's completely crazy. Generally speaking, you don't normally use like this kind of pike because the lower end damage on it is really low, but because the minus fizz res and all the sockets, like in my SSF situation, this was the best that I could afford. So that's what we tested with. We paired this with a pair of drainers instead of the Drax. We kept I believe we kept the Gore Riders. We kept like the Ariots. I think Ariots, or yeah, I think we used Ariots, and on top of that we put a G-Bane that we found. It has 2 sockets, and we put 2 pretty cheap jewels inside it for like 60 ED or something like that. So again, not too expensive. The rings are the same rings that we found, so it's like self-found rings. The belt is just like a string of ears with 12 PDR, faster run walk. That's also something that we found. So nothing here is too crazy, just like enough to get like life leech. Something that we also chose to do was, because you can max out your iron skin and get like a ton of PDR from that, we chose to not put that many points into vitality, and we just put a ton of points into strength to get more damage, or not strength, sorry, I think it's dexterity for pike. I got corrected on that yesterday. So you learn something every day. And yeah, you can see that this does incredible damage. This, even in tier 3, we managed to clear through. I even tested it in like higher player counts and tier 1s, and it was like doing great even there. Over here you can see me dropping another sacred armor. This is the 8th sacred armor, I think 7th that we have dropped. I'm trying to count now. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. This is the 7th, I believe. 7th sacred armor that we have dropped in our SSF journey. And yeah, let's go ahead and give it a nice blind slam, as we always do. And if this is ladder reset, I would recommend identifying it and mostly selling it clean and not slamming it, unless you're planning to use it. But you know, it is what it is. We do what we do, and we go ahead and break another sacred armor. This is the 4th one that I'm breaking out of the 7 that I dropped. So it is what it is. While playing, we ended up dropping this very cool hammer, very cool F Ogre Maul, that had 1 to Barbarian skills and 329 enhanced damage with some AR, 30 crushing blow. So really, really nice hammer. And we were planning to run Leaper with the same gear that we did the physical spinner with, but with a Gavel Pain that we had with 6 sockets. But I ended up wanting to use this F Ogre Maul that we dropped. It's like a self-found thing, so I might as well use it. And I wanted to test like test how it will go. The video is continuing? Yeah, okay. I wanted to test how it's gonna feel like. I took a couple of dull runes again, keeping it as budgety as possible. And that's the last build we wanted to test. As far as like the physical spinner, if it wasn't clear, the speed was incredible. We cleared like tier 3 maps in like about 12 minutes, which is great for like a day free budgety setup. The tier 1 maps were sub 10, which is great for like this kind of situation. The tier 2 maps, we did it about 10 minutes, which is again really nice. I think we had an event there as well, so it kind of slowed us down a little bit, but it was still fine. And that's the last build that we wanted to test, the Leaper build. That was the leading build in day number 2 for me. And you can see that this baby is pretty crazy. Now, for the gear, we changed the boots to Gorefoots, which you can easily find in normal. We found a pair in normal. The helm is Cyclopean, another cheap helm that you can farm in normal difficulty or in Nightmare, early Nightmare if you want to. So again, another cheap option. And for the armor, we use the same G-Bane we used for the spin. We use the same belt, we use the same gloves, same rings, same amulet with the Atmas. We had like a cheap Atmas to proc some amp. Something that I did also test like throughout the day is which merc we're running. You can see I'm running Wahid, Act 2, Blessed Aim merc, our absolute Chad. We tested 3 types of mercs. We tested an Act 1 Vigor merc with all the builds. We tested the Act 5 Might merc, and we tested the Act 2 Vigor, the Act 2 Blessed Aim merc. And overall, Act 1 Vigor merc is cool for speed. It's really nice. Not on Leaper, of course, but it's cool for speed for spinners and for throwers. Problem is, she dies too much. She can't keep up. She really is not that helpful, so I didn't like her too much. We tried the Act 5 merc, and he was somewhat successful, giving us the might, or obviously really helped. Problem was also that it's really hard to keep him alive throughout the whole thing. It's very difficult, and to gear him really well was very expensive. And then you have the Act 2 Blessed Aim merc, and he really didn't need that much. You just throw a Reaper stall on him, random items that you can find anywhere, and he's pretty much good for it. So I really recommend going with the Act 2 Blessed Aim merc. He gives you Deadly Strike, he gives you AR, which really helps anyway for us. So we were really happy with how he performed, and you can see how the Leaper performed. We're absolutely crushing everything. It feels very safe. Again, we kept most of our points into strength for the hammer to do as much damage as possible. You don't need too much health. The build is very safe. You can see this, we ran tier 2s, tier 3s. Everything felt pretty good. This was by far the fastest build that we were running during that day. And of course, some of it has to do with the weapon that we ended up dropping, but it's not like the other weapons were not good. Like, we ran 2 lacerators on the bleed throw. We ran like the steel pillar with 6 sockets on the spinner. So our weapons weren't bad for like other builds as far as I'm concerned. Like a messer for a bleed whirlwind, I think on day 3 is pretty good. So after all, I would pretty much recommend this build the most. Again, if it's not your playstyle, or if you just don't like leaping, I think that's perfectly fine. And you can play all the other builds that we showed were viable early farmers. You can definitely get along with them. I personally didn't really recommend the Warcry early on. Warcry can farm like things like Travancore early in more LOD areas, but if you want to get into mapping, you want to get into high pace farming, I would really recommend sticking to either Whirlwind or Leaper. They were the best, like you know, budget to farming viability via, you know, good. They had the best ratio. So these are the 2 most successful builds we have. And lastly, I promise I'll show the Wolf Howl helmet, the Barb Wolf or Wolf Barb setup for Declone. So we're gonna do that. Before that, if you enjoy the content, feel free to leave a like, a subscribe, maybe a little message for me to read so I'm not too bored before I go to sleep. And yeah, now we're gonna go ahead and do the Wolf Barb Declone attempt. I was kind of urged to challenge myself a little harder and do a tier 1 clone instead of a tier 0. So you're going to see something a lot more challenging. Remember, tier 1 declone is like leagues apart from tier 0. But I was pushed, you know, I was pushed to it. And did the video freeze? It did freeze. Give me a moment to grab it. Okay, there we go. So yeah, I'm not sure if there is a lot more to this. Okay, yeah, it should be after this. So yeah, we go ahead and we gear our wolfbarb. We gave him an odium with like 5 shales, so nothing crazy. The same G-Bane we're using, a wolf howl with no jewels in it, and Noko relic, the same Noko relic we found on day 1, and a pair of water walks with some fire res. You can see our resistances are not crazy, but they will go up because of natural resistances, getting a bonus from battle cry, not battle cry, battle command. And the charms are not that good. Like, we didn't use very good charms. I didn't take this very seriously because I was planning to do tier 0. But yeah, we go ahead and do tier 1. And something you can see is that we're not doing that much damage. Yeah, actually, we're doing pretty okay damage considering this is tier 1. We managed to clear the first phase pretty easily. We go into the skeleton phase, and the skeleton phase was pretty hard. Killing them was pretty slow. It took us a lot of juice to kind of clear. But yeah, we were doing overall pretty okay. Sadly, our health was pretty low, so I was juving pretty fast. Like, I wasn't very comfortable with the juves because we couldn't do like 2k juves because I didn't want to go down to 300 HP. So our juve efficiency was a little bit low, but you can see we're like pretty much kiting around, just like hitting the skeletons, not letting them gang up on us too much. Yeah, I was spamming a little bit of lightning hose, so we were just like running around trying to catch a break. Yeah, we finally got to the mage phase, and the mage phase was pretty rough. It was really hard to target like some of the skeletons, mostly because he was just sitting in the middle there, and I couldn't really walk up and hit him. But yeah, this is like this used to be a pretty strong boss in build. They nerfed this build quite a bit when they changed the wolf howl. He does get to attack extremely fast, so if you get a weapon with really high damage, it would be super strong. But you can see we had to pause it there. We ran out of juice, and that was the end of our declone attempt. I'm pretty sure I'm with the same gear that I had before, or no, I changed back to the other gear, but I think I have some of it still here. Yeah, there we go. So we use this odium. It had 5 sockets to it. You don't need the 5 shales, you just need 4 shales to bring the wolfbarb to 3 frames per second attack with the odium, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, it is very strong. So you could have a lot more damage here. This obviously could be ethereal as well, which would make it a lot stronger. This wolf howl has 4 to werewolf and 4 to feral rage. So that also lost us a little bit of damage, a little bit of health. There's plenty of stuff that could be a lot stronger about our setup. We're also missing a ton of PDR, a ton of like, you know, resistances. So all that could have been much better. But if I do attempt like another tier 1, I'll definitely take it more seriously. With that said, we are wrapping the Barb Rags to Riches mini-series. We're already rich. We dropped a ton of things. You can see that I probably, I don't know, if you look to the loot part, we dropped like a 20 IS Drax. We dropped like some armors that were really nice. We dropped like gores. We dropped a water walk. So we dropped a ton of things with this barb that are definitely worth some currency to a lot of people. And yeah, I think on day number 4, I'm probably not gonna upload it, but we're gonna do some Raphma attempts for the DIY bossing series. And the builds we're going to take are, of course, the Berserk, the main bosser build. We're going to take the Wolfbarb, and we're going to take Fro. All 3 of them are capable of doing Raphma, so we're definitely going to take all 3 of them for the people who want to enjoy bossing with the Barb. Thank you for watching the series. I really appreciate it, and I'm glad that everybody's enjoying the series. The next character right now is likely to be either Paladin or Amazon. I haven't decided yet. I'll probably decide over the weekend, maybe after seeing the Senpai update on Saturday. On Saturday is today, I guess. So yeah, it's probably when like I'm gonna decide. And on Sunday we're gonna start a new character. So I hope to see you all on the next videos as well. But till then, have a good whatever you're having, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye bye.